your latest news update from Western Mass News.
Good Monday afternoon, everyone. I'm Pisano with a look at your headlines. Millions of drivers hit the road for their three-day getaway for the Juneteenth holiday. Drivers told us the highways were congested. Others, though, said nothing seemed out of the ordinary. AAA reports the average price for a gallon of gas here in the Bay State currently sits at $3.54 a gallon, up only 1 cent from a week ago. Mass DOT is advising travelers to plan their trip ahead of time and use public transportation whenever possible to help cut down on traffic. Several people were displaced yesterday following a fire at 30 Hebron Street in Springfield. 5 adults and 3 children have been impacted, with at least 7 of them receiving help from the American Red Cross. One person was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Springfield Fire responded around 4 p.m. on Sunday, and crews say that fire was caused by a faulty electrical panel. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with China's President Xi Jinping during his second and final day of high-stakes talks in Beijing. It's a crucial step aimed at cooling tensions between the countries, as ties have been strained since a dispute over a Chinese surveillance balloon earlier this year. Blinken also met with China's top diplomat. The State Department called those talks candid and productive. Both sides have come into these meetings with a goal of improving their deeply strained relationship.
I'm meteorologist Jana Brown with a check of your forecast. We'll keep fair skies early tonight, but patchy low clouds and fog expected to redevelop across the area. We'll have temperatures drop back down to the middle 50s, calm, cool, and fairly comfortable. We head into our day Tuesday, and it's going to look a lot like today. I think we'll see the most sunshine in the morning, but a mix of clouds and sun throughout the day, with cloud cover kind of winning out. Low risk for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm into the afternoon. Not expecting anything severe, and again, I think most will stay dry. Breezes will be on the lighter side, and dew points this week are actually going to be climbing toward the end of the week. So we've actually got some decent weather on tap as we kick off the summer season on Wednesday. Even Thursday is looking pretty good, but then as we go from Friday into the weekend, we're going to go into a stretch of humid and unsettled weather. Now, for the first day of summer, temperatures close to 80 degrees. It is looking dry with a mix of sun and clouds, and Thursday close to 80. Those 2 days should be the pick of the week. Friday looking mostly dry and quite warm, also increasingly humid with a late day shower or storm. Shower and thunderstorm chances increasing over the weekend, especially for Sunday and Monday, and we stay unsettled the first half of next week.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.